Hello friends, we're in the latest episode of Transfer News. The winter transfer window is still ongoing, and we're analyzing the agenda and the latest developments. Before we start the video, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribing would be the biggest support for us. Don't forget to like the video. Kean's star continues to shine. The young Kean, who plays for Juventus, has started to get much more playing time. Moreover, he has become one of the fans' favorite players. He had received an offer from Arsenal a month ago, but if he continues like this, he will take the number 10 jersey at Juventus. After players like Del Piero and Dybala, he will be the new number 10 for the team, which is very significant for Juventus. They don't just hand out that jersey to anyone at Juve. We had mentioned that Moise Kean could be an opportunity for other European teams. Juventus has added him to the loan list, and the first offer has come from Rennes. He has become one of the names falling out of favor at Juventus. Additionally, Kean, Yildiz, and Milik are in great form. With Vlahovic also in the mix, he doesn't stand much of a chance. This is the final call for 23-year-old Moise Kean for European teams. If Rennes completes this transfer in the next few days, the opportunity will be missed. Jude Bellingham is trying to convince Manchester City goal machine Erling Haaland to join him at Real Madrid. Bellingham and Haaland were teammates at Borussia Dortmund for 2 seasons but went their separate ways when the striker joined Manchester City in the summer of 2022 and Bellingham went to Real Madrid last summer. And according to Spanish radio station Cadena SER, Bellingham is hoping to organize a reunion by convincing Haaland to leave City for Madrid. What I understand is that Bellingham and Haaland talk to each other almost every week, journalist Manu Carreno said on the radio show El Larguero. Bellingham calls him and tells him to come to Real Madrid. They already met in Dortmund and it seems Haaland doesn't like Manchester very much. Madrid made a big effort to sign Haaland in 2022 before the Norwegian eventually opted to join City, where his father Alfie had played. He visited the Santiago Bernabeu with his agent Rafaela Pimenta and his father, but at the time was concerned he would be competing for a starting berth with Karim Benzema, who was still at Madrid. He has been a rip-roaring success at City, winning the treble in his debut campaign and scoring a record-breaking 36 Premier League goals last season. What are your views on this subject? I am waiting for comments. Arsenal is looking to add another player to their centre-back rotation. De Ligt has been on the agenda for a while. They aim to include the Dutch player in the rotation alongside Gabriel and Saliba. In my opinion, Arsenal's priority should be a striker, but they also need reinforcements in defense. We are curious about how they will allocate the budget for this because they will have to pay a high amount for the De Ligt transfer. Manchester United has made an official offer for Morten Jolmand. The Red Devils are looking to make a move in the midfield. The 24-year-old Dane was previously linked with Porto at the beginning of the season. The Portuguese side had shown interest in him at that time. Manchester United has made a swap deal plus a certain amount of money offer, but Sporting opened the door at €90 million. The player has only played for a few months in Portugal. They took him in at 18, and now they are asking for 90. We are currently awaiting Manchester United's response. West Ham has become the latest suitor for Lingard. They have reconsidered the transfer of their former player and are currently the most serious contenders for the 31-year-old star. Newcastle United, the world's richest team, is forced to sell players to make new acquisitions. Things have become even more challenging after the recent financial report. Despite complaints from the Newcastle fans about financial fair play, their net spending over the last 5 transfer windows amounted to €352 million, surpassing Manchester City's spending in the same period by €215 million. Additionally, they are struggling to sell players. During this time, they only made 2 sales in the range of €10 million, one of which was Chris Wood, whom they sold at a loss of €11 million. Manager Eddie Howe is reportedly keen on acquiring Calvin Phillips and has instructed the club to find a way to complete his transfer. Contrary to Juventus, the player is reportedly getting closer to a move to Newcastle every day. Meanwhile, the club is reluctant to make player sales, but the situation Newcastle is in could present an opportunity for other teams. Alexander Isak and Bruno Guimaraes are key players for Newcastle, with clubs like Arsenal seeking a striker and Paris Saint-Germain eyeing Bruno Guimaraes. For instance, a move for Isak might be considered by the Gunners, while Paris has dreams of adding Bruno Guimaraes to their squad. Eddie Howe spoke out, saying, "I love Solanke. I brought him to Bournemouth. I highly valued him, but we didn't conduct any research on him. Signing a contract with a player of his caliber is impossible." The coach seems to be implying that, despite wanting Solanke, they cannot acquire him at the moment. Solanke had won the Player of the Month award in the Premier League for December and is currently in excellent form, scoring 6 goals in 6 games during that month. It could have been the most attractive move for Newcastle, who are in search of a striker. Saudi Arabian teams had been quiet for a while, but they have broken their silence in the mid-season transfer window and made their first move. Al Ittihad has secured the transfer of Angel Correa from Atletico Madrid. The cost for them will be just over €20 million. The Argentine player was a significant part of the rotation, but if Simeone wanted to leave, he did not insist on him staying. Another Saudi Arabian team, Al Hilal, is acquiring Ronaldo. Neymar's team has been leading the league and was in need of a left back. We expect them to pay Marseille €20 million for the 25-year-old Brazilian. Santiago Jimenez is the target of West Ham. The Mexican forward from Feyenoord scored 39 goals in 2023. His team does not want to sell him in January, believing that he will be more expensive in June. Meanwhile, it is reported that West Ham's initial offer will be €30 million. It is highly likely that Feyenoord will reject this offer. Napoli has completed the transfer of Kane Jr. Traore, who plays for Bournemouth. The 23-year-old attacking midfielder arrived on loan, with a purchase option of €25 million in June. Real Madrid has not yet decided what to do once Kepa's loan agreement expires. They are currently reluctant to bring him in from Chelsea. Kepa wants to stay at Real Madrid, but it is uncertain whether this desire alone will be sufficient. Bayern Munich has officially announced the loan signing of Eric Dier from Tottenham until the end of the season. The 29-year-old player will help solve their defensive issues as a centre-back. Now, their focus turns to the right-back position, and Sacha Bowie, currently playing for Galatasaray, is linked with Bayern. The Bundesliga giant has been closely monitoring Bowie since watching him live in the Champions League group stage matches against Galatasaray, and they were impressed. Currently, Bayern faces a serious gap in the right-back position, even resorting to Kimmich playing there in the final minutes of their latest match. Manager Tuchel commented, "We are looking for a strong right-back. We will see if it's possible. If there is an opportunity in the market, we will consider it. Otherwise, the team will remain as it is." Galatasaray seems reluctant to sell Bowie, but Bayern appears poised to make an offer exceeding €30 million, a figure they recently did not hesitate to pay for Dragusin. Chelsea boss Mauricio Pochettino has responded to claims that Chelsea are interested in signing Brighton starlet Evan Ferguson. Pochettino remained coy over the rumors and refused to be drawn into too much of a discussion on the young striker. The Blues have been linked with the 19-year-old who has 6 goals so far in the Premier League this season, although Brighton will only sanction a sale should they receive a record transfer bid. Asked about Chelsea's links with Ferguson after his side's 1-0 win over Fulham, Pochettino said, "No, I'm not going to talk about rumors as I'm so respectful. We are not talking, we are assessing the squad, and if something happens we will communicate." Arsenal handed opportunity to sign Douglas Luiz as Aston Villa find themselves in a spot of bother with the financial fair play regulations. Mikel Arteta has been a huge admirer of the 25-year-old and left no stone unturned to land him at the Emirates in the summer of 2022. However, Villa remained adamant they would not let go of their star player and turned down 3 deadline day bids. He was tied to a long-term deal by the club which extends until 2026, but the Gunners could once again launch an offensive for the Brazilian as the Villains struggle with their finances.